Our guest tonight is a talented actor you know from films such as Belfast, A Haunting in Venice, Barb and Star, Go to Vista Del Mar, and the award-winning series The Fall. He is currently starring in The Tourist. The highly anticipated second season is available to stream now on Netflix. Please welcome to the show, Jamie Dornan, everybody. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to have you here. I do want to, before we move on to the wonderful show, The Tourist, you were in one of my favorite films that came out during the pandemic. Maybe got a little missed because it was a pandemic film.
Yeah.
Barb and Star, Go to Vista Del Mar.
Yeah.
And it was... And for me, it was so exciting because I had known you first from The Fall and was never expecting to see you in a comedy like that. No. And it was just a delight.
I don't think anybody watched The Fall and thought, let's put him in comedy. You know, including me, you know. But it was one of those things that just came about in a really lovely way. And I think, you know, it was one of the best experiences of my life. Like, just hanging around with Kristen and Annie and all those guys who came in and did, like, day parts on it and stuff. And just trying to keep up with them, you know, and try to, like, prove yourself that you're funny in that kind of capacity. With that company, it was incredible.
Well, it's a wonderful film. And congratulations on the show. Now, the first season you shot in Australia.
Yes.
And you got 3 girls.
Yeah.
You moved them to Australia for 5 months.
Yep.
Did they like it? Are they mad when you say we're going?
No, you know what? Like, it was in the peak COVID.
Oh, perfect.
And actually, so they were on great form anyway, obviously, because it's like, hey, this is a great experience. No, and then they were like, it wasn't going well in the UK. They were like lockdown after lockdown. So then Australia had no case. Like South Australia, where we were, had 0 cases of COVID. So we had to go and do quarantine in a hotel, which wasn't great. But once we were there, it was kind of COVID-free. So we felt pretty smug.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, we did. We felt pretty smug.
Did the girls pick up any Australian slang accent?
Slang accent, definitely. Our eldest, definitely. And what's really sweet is now, I mean, Jesus, that was, you know, 3 years ago that we left there. She still like FaceTimes with her like wee mates that she made out there, and she still like she falls back. I sometimes listen in at the door, because she's 10 now, and I'm getting that age. It's like, what are they actually talking about on there? Like, you know. And she still goes into a bit of an Australian twang when she's talking to her Australian friends, which is pretty cool.
That's fantastic. Yeah. This next season you shot in Ireland.
Yes.
Now I'm pretty good with accents. Sounds like you might maybe be from there.
Yeah, I'm from there. This guy is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's like, a bit of a trick. Yeah, it's like pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah, like I do a little magic show in town if you want to go.
Wow.
Did you have some say? Was this a coincidence, or did you sort of throw it out there that it might be more fun to do it there?
What do you think?
Yeah.
No, listen, I had an idea that my character was Irish, so remained Irish, and then, you know, we weren't meant to do a second series, and then when it did well, so there was like, let's make more. And I sort of was like, look, I think it's probably a good idea if like he goes to Ireland and, you know, searches for answers back there, because I don't know, he's lost his memory and needs to find out who he is. And actually, luckily, Harry and Jack Williams, who created the show, were like, look, we have that idea too. So it wasn't purely me sort of banging the drum for Ireland, but I was pretty happy when we ended up there.
I like you pitching it, like maybe he goes back, maybe he lives in my house.
Yeah.
Maybe he finds out he has 3 daughters.
Yeah,
one of them's half Australian.
There's lots of scenes where he doesn't even get out of bed. He's just like,
just like so sad all the time. He's catching up on other shows.
Yeah.
This is, because I appreciate The Tourist, obviously not a show for kids. You've got 3 kids.
Yeah.
I'm in the same situation, right? This isn't something my kids can watch. They're aware that I do something like this, but they don't get to enjoy it. You actually, you did a bit of a power play. You reached out and got yourself into the Trolls movie.
I did.
And did you fully make, like, I want to be in it for my kids?
Oh, Jesus, 100%. Like, I actually realized how sort of like sort of rash that was, and like to do that. But our kids were obsessed with the first Trolls movie, constantly listening to Justin Timberlake and Anna Kendrick in the car, like at all times, to the point of like actual insanity. And you know, Universal were involved in those films, and we made 50 Shades with Universal, and so yeah. all the guys out there. I love that movie. They do. You guys, the guys love them. They like that movie. So Donna Langley, who runs Universal, is a friend of mine. I just said, look, I will do anything to just put me in the second Trolls movie. I'll walk on and I'll sneeze. I don't care. Like, just put me in. So she worked it out, and I did it. It's a small part. I think I have about 8 lines or something, but it was great for the kids.
Now, do you remember the name of your troll?
Yes, I do. He's called Chaz, and he was the smooth jazz troll. Because
were you happy when you found out that was what they had envisioned for you?
Well, in Northern Ireland, we're very famous for smooth jazz. So it was just like a perfect fit, obviously. Yeah, I know. I was pretty happy. Mate, I promise you, I would have done anything. So I was like, oh, well, he has like a name.
It does seem like they took you at your word.
Yes.
Donna went to the writers. They're like, he'll do anything. They're like, well, then he's Chaz.
It's like the only one on the list that they haven't found someone for.
Everybody's a heart. Now, this is a photo of Chaz.
Yeah.
Did you, when you were doing the voice, did you have any sense of what Chaz was going to look like?
No, but I always think, like, in these things, like, when they come out, I always think the animated version does look a wee bit like the actor portraying it, and I think that they've done that. I felt that with our good friend Kristen Wiig. When she's done that thing, I thought it looks a bit like her.
Yeah. No, this is a dead ringer.
I mean, it's just.
Yeah.
I would like.
Yeah.
I kind of love it. And I would like.
I mean, I love it too. I'd be
to have that hair.
There's no reason to complain about Chaz.
No.
Did you now? What was the payoff though when the girls finally saw the movie? Could they tell it was you?
They're confused.
Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah. So many people have told me this about when you actually do the thing that you think your kids are going to react to.
Yeah.
They don't maybe love it as much as you.
Yeah. Oh, they're quick to tell you they don't love it too. Yeah. No. The oldest two were sort of getting it, and our youngest only just turned 5 a couple of weeks ago, so she now, when we watch, it's good. Even now, when she watches it, I sort of try to force it on her a little bit now because she's a little bit older. Maybe she'll understand. She doesn't quite get it that I'm that guy.
Yeah. To be fair, it's a tough thing to get.
No, true. And I changed my voice a little bit because I wanted to be understood somewhat. So our youngest is like, it sounds a bit like you. I'm like, it is me. I don't know how else to tell you. Like, it's me.
You're like opening IMDb. You're like,
exactly. Look, it's good. Look.
Yeah.
Look. Yeah. Yeah, we get residuals from this stuff.
This is important for our family.
Pays for your lunchbox.
I want to talk more about the stories. I overheard you backstage. You were you not allowed to cut your hair right now.
No, Chris. Yeah. No, it's
new role.
New role. I start shooting in a few weeks. And
I don't think it looks bad.
Oh well, thanks. Thanks. Yeah. It feels bad. It's okay. It's just there's a lot of it. I don't mind it, and it's so curly. So it's just dealing with that. Like it's like and I'm just wearing a lot of hats. Right. That's my thing. I'm someone who likes hats anyway, but every shop I go into, I buy a hat. Yeah. Yeah.
And now the part I'm assuming is a live action Trolls.
I would never wear a hat for that. Look at that.
I got a lot more to ask you about. We'll be right back with Jamie after this.